I had a vision this morning when I was waking up, and I've been sleeping outside. So I want to tell you guys that I've been washing up in bathrooms and like public restrooms, and I recall when I was asleep being inside of a convenience store and going into a public restroom, and there was another woman inside of the public restroom, a black woman, and she had a stereo, like a little radio, and she was bumping the stereo inside of the public restroom, and I needed to go in there and wash up. I was like, this girl is in there playing music, but I was just like starting to wash my body, and then before I could even really get started, somebody came and was like, boom, 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 y'all need to come out of that restroom, and the door was locked. And they were like, the woman was like, y'all taking too long in that restroom. And it reminded me of what people have been doing. Like yesterday when I went to wash up, people were just like busting in the bathroom. I went to a CVS and the door was locked. Like when you go into CVS, it was 2 stalls, and the door would lock behind me. Like once you close the door, it would lock. And so people kept coming and beating on the door, like, let me in the bathroom. And it was 2 stalls, and I had to come out and unlock the door for them. And I could barely wash my body in any of the restrooms that I've gone to anywhere in America that I've gone to without people trying to bust in the restroom and stop me from cleaning my body. So I'm going to go back to the vision. In the vision, the black girl was sitting there looking at me, and I was looking at her, and I'm like, why is the bathroom stall locked? And there's other stalls in here, so nobody should be, coming in and bothering us. And the girl was like, well, some rap chick that's got an album out, and it's hit records on there, she's saying that y'all are taking too long in the bathroom. And I'm like, who the heck is this such and such chick that's rapping, and what does she have to do with me being in the bathroom and how long I have to, be in the bathroom? So anyway, I put my recorder on, and I started filming it. I was like, let me start filming this, and I pressed record. Then I ended up in this room with some other females, and there were like bunk beds, like these black bunk beds. I recall there were black bunk beds like that in the women's center that I was staying in here in Cairo, Texas, and there were other black women that were there. That just kind of picked up back into my memory once I realized there were black bunk beds in the vision. So I had the black, I had the black bunk beds in the room and the women's center. So I'm recalling all of this as I'm telling you guys what's going on. So I started filming the black bunk beds in the vision, and there were other black women, and they started getting dressed. Like I saw one getting dressed in pink. She had on pink pants, like very tight, skin tight pants. And they were almost like leggings, like jeggings, I believe. And she had some black hair, like weave, and she was getting dressed almost like she was like a working girl, like maybe a stripper, but like me, like I like to look nice. And there were other women around, and I felt my breast, and I felt my stomach, and my stomach did not feel like I was pregnant anymore. Like I didn't feel like there was a baby in me anymore. And my breasts were really hard, like like very, very hard, like almost how you have a man with pecs that's like really muscular and swollen. That's how my breasts were. And it almost felt like I had a little baby in my breast. Like, I don't know, it's like, I don't mean to say it like that, but it was like when your breast starts to like, breast milk like dries out, or where you got so much milk in your breast that it gets hard and starts squirting out of your nipple. That's like the only thing I can really describe the feeling, but it wasn't like that, it just, my breast just felt hard. And so I ended up in this room with these women, and there were people watching us. There was a group of, please, no disrespect, but there were a group of Caucasian adults that were watching us, and one of them looked like the CEO of YouTube, Susan, and I don't really know how to say her last name, but her first name is Susan. So it looked like I saw her sitting there with like a panel of people, and I was sitting, I sat down, and they were like saying, there was one white lady, and there was a white male, and he was saying like they were saying almost like, look at this, like dancing, like, you know, like watching me dance or whatever, or anything is not that entertaining or something like that. And I was looking at it like, okay, I told the white woman next to me, I said, that's how it starts out. You know, I said, you got to get past that point of, you know, people thinking you're boring or whatever at first. And then you just get through that process. This is what I told her. I said, you get through that process and then things start to get good. And it's like she almost understood what I was saying. And then it was like the white male almost understood because they were like younger. And it was like they kind of like understood, but then they were like, you know, and I was like, you know, and I started filming them. Like, I was like, let me film this, you know, and I started sneaking and filming it. So there was a police presence where I was eating like yogurt and stuff, and there was these little coffee cups. I was trying to find little cups to put my stuff in, and there were like police officers or sergeants or somebody that was watching me as if I were in a room, and they were watching me just sit there and eat my breakfast. And I was like, what in the world? And I was intimidated, but then when I just saw them watching, I was like, okay, let me eat my yogurt and get whatever I'm gonna get in my little cup in my business. And I ended up in a room that was like a strip club, and I heard a voice say to me, see, people don't like to help you because the Illuminati, they'll find a way to try to drag down anybody that helps you and try to ruin them and accuse them of this or accuse them of that. So, you know, then I saw people throwing money on strippers. And I heard this song by Snoop Dogg, and I swear it looked like I saw Snoop Dogg throwing money on like strippers or whatever, or a stripper, and then it turned into another guy, and he almost looked like Snoop Dogg, but it wasn't him, and he was throwing money too. And I saw this girl, they were throwing money on girls, and I was like, oh my goodness, I wish that was my butt. I wish that was my ass in front of them, popping my butt, you know, getting that money, you know, like all I could do was just like poof her away and poof me right in front of them so I could be getting that money, you know? So then I saw a guy, like they disappeared. And I saw, like, it looked like a girl at first with, like, really short hair. And she had on a black bodysuit. And then it looked like it turned into a guy that was doing it, too. And, like, he was, like, the girl and the guy, they were, like, bending over, doing back bends, you know, falling out on their belly, holding their legs up behind their head. And I was like, damn, I want to do stuff like that. Like, I wish I was doing stuff like that. And, man, this dude was just, like, throwing all kind of money. I was like, oh, my goodness. And so then I saw this other woman who was like my skin complexion. She had blonde hair, kind of like how I like to wear my hair color, and hers was kind of shorter, and she was on her knees on top of this guy on the lap dance, like doing a lap dance and like doggy style on his lap, and she just had her butt like all up in his face and was just popping. And I was like, dang. And he put a big old stack on her butt. Then he put another stack on her butt. Then he put a third stack on her butt. And it was like, homeboy was like, this girl had 3 big old stack bricks on her butt. I was like, ooh. And she had the cutout, like the little booty cutout bodysuit, and she was showing that man everything. And it was just fire. And so after that, I heard a voice, a man say, like, she not even ready to meet her new boyfriend. And then, like, I woke up and I was still sleeping outside, and the sky was getting daylight. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I did put some of my images on TikTok last night with Drew Hill songs. So I'm going to leave a link to that. I just wanted to share my vision with y'all.